welcome to Garrett's Games. We are a podcast, a weekly podcast, and a weekly video series about board games. My name is Doug.
My name's Shelley.
And we're here to talk to you about a board game, of course, and that is
Azul
Duel. Yes, the little cousin, if you will, of the award-winning Azul that came out in 2017. This is by Michael Kiesling from Next Move Games. This is, as Duel implies, a two-player only game of Azul. For those of you who know the game, you have a great bag of tiles. They are these wonderful little tiles that we're going to be playing around with. Everybody has their own board, and you are going to be making these dome pieces and filling the dome pieces with your various tiles in Azul Duel. Hey, but before we get into the game, remember, you can sponsor the podcast by going to patreon.com/GarrettsGames or head down to the show notes and check out the extensive list of games that no longer fit on our shelves, but belong on your table. All right, let's get on to Azul Duel. So in Azul Duel, each player has a paperboard player board in front of them. It has a 3x3 grid over here where you're placing these dome tiles that take 4 different pieces of the tile. And then, of course, just as in Azul, you are going to be drafting tiles. You're going to be drafting more of those dome pieces. You are going to be drafting these tiles, I should say, from the sunny side, notice, or the moon side of the different factories. These are the factories, these circular areas. You also have these little tiles that have one or, let me see if I can get one, 2 colors on them that are in the colors of the tiles themselves. And these, you're going to be drafting 2 of these during a round. And you can see that there are 4 of them face down on the area. Okay? So you're going to be drafting from the sun, drafting from the moon, drafting a dome tile, and possibly drafting one of the tokens. Actually, 2 dome tiles and 2 tokens, and that will end a round, and you're going to play 5 rounds. Okay? So, Shelley, why don't you talk a little bit about the dome tiles and the difference between the 2 different types?
Well, there are some that have that look like this, and actually all of that have this symbol here, and those mean they're wild, and they can take any color. And then there's also ones that are different, that look round instead of this other shape here.
This has the wild back.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And this one means that if you fill in these colors around it, you're going to get to place one of these for free in this spot, filling that area up.
Yeah.
And you can tell by looking at the back of these tiles which tiles are coming up. So that's something that you'll be doing during the game, because once you've drafted from here, you're going to need to, one of the players is also going to need to take one of these type of tiles. And perhaps you want to get a certain type of tile because maybe of end game scoring or something of that nature. So this one says that you would get -3 points if you had these ones that were not filled in. So each one that was not filled in.
Exactly.
So that could be pretty painful. So that might be why you might not want this one, even though you're going to get to do a free one if you surrounded it. And there's also, for end game scoring here, there's ones that indicate that you would get 3 if you fill in the whole.
So all of each in the corner. So
in
3
each
in
corner.
the top
So
corners,
3 and 3.
And then 8 if you fill the bottom corner.
Those are much harder to do, and we'll explain why that in a minute. And then this one would indicate that you would have gotten 1 in each of the rows.
One of each of the tiles. There's 5 different color tiles, and if you get all 5 in a row, this is probably the hardest.
I think we weren't unable to do that at all. But actually, this would also be really hard to do, the bottom 8 here, to get these, because, well, we'll talk about that, but these are much harder, take more time to do than the top ones.
Now, there are 4 of these endgame scoring tiles in the box you use. It says 3 of them, and they are double-sided, so they've got a bunch of different things on that. So when you're drafting, now so similar to all of the Azul games, you're going to take all of one color, all right? And then you place it into one of the rows that is on the left side of your player board, all right? So if it were my turn, say, and I'm looking at my tile, I took this one as my start tile. Everybody gets to draft one. I've got the dark blue here, the nice teal over here. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, you know what? I've got a bunch of teal. This could be really good for me.
It's really good.
I'm going to take these 3 teal as my drafting.
He could have chosen where he wanted to put this too. So
right.
It didn't have to be there.
Exactly. I could have put it here.
And he could have also put it over here or here.
That's true. That's true. And say I place it, say it's like this. I could place that teal. Boom. I fill this row, which is good for the second part of a turn. All the other tiles that are left in the factory get stacked, and if there's more than one, I get to choose the order that they're stacked onto this the nighttime side of the tile. Now, going forward, Shelley has a chance to either draft a tile or tiles all of the same color. It has to take all of the tiles of one color from all of the nighttime spots. You'll notice that it works a little bit differently over here in the big area. So say if instead I had taken these 3, I took these 2, not the best move, by the way.
No, you really don't want to do that.
And I did that. These, instead, each one goes separately on a spot over here in the nighttime side. And then the person who's the first to draft from the night side in the big factory, they're the one who gets the start player token for the next round. Good because you get to go first. Bad because you get -2 points.
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
So really bad in the last round.
Here's where we're keeping score of our
exactly. So I've drafted this. I'm putting this in. That goes there.
Then it would be my turn, and I'm probably now if I left the turquoise, he could, the teal, he could come and make another row of that.
Right. Well,
here.
She's looking at it
but
nice,
I'm
and she's
also,
got the turquoise there.
Turquoise, but I also see that there's 3 red, but I want to put there. But I could put here if I wanted to instead, to working for my future.
Definitely.
And then maybe I draft one of these my next time.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
So I
hard
probably,
to leave that
I
3 red
probably
out
would
there.
take these 3 red. That's what I would do. And I'm not going to do this, and then because then the rest will be negative. So because you have to only do 1 row.
Exactly.
So I'm going to do that.
Okay. And then this, of course,
And
goes on to there. Now, I could take a single red. I could take a single yellow from either of the night side things there. Or I could take the multiples in the colors as well. Looking at this, maybe I want to start working on the dark blue. Or maybe I'm like, you know what? There's that teal out there.
Yeah, the teal's so great.
So I'm going to take this teal here.
Yep.
And given that there's 2 that have teal, if I place this here, I could set myself up to get those things and move on, and then that goes like that, right?
But notice that if I were to leave this one for him, this is a teal and a wild, which could also be teal for the future.
Right, exactly,
well.
as is this one, right?
Right, even though I'm only going to put 1 of these over here.
Now, the other thing you can do is use your tokens. You have 2 of these tokens, and they go onto the board. So one of the things I'm going to want to do in a future round is maybe take that tile, setting it up so that I've got that teal set up in that row, okay? So that would be, and notice that these don't refill, okay? If I had wanted to, and maybe I had wanted to start going for, getting some of these, I don't know why I'd want to set myself up possibly for negative. That wouldn't be a very smart idea. But I could pay a victory point per tile that I take. I have to pay all the victory points that I want. Say I want to do, I'm going to look at 3. Not a good idea.
I don't think so.
But
Not
I
right
have to
now.
pay 3 before I flip these over to see what they are.
And you're only going to keep 1 of those.
Exactly.
And the rest are going to go back down into the stack.
Right. So say Shelley now, on her turn, had said, okay, I'm going to take this 1 red. Well, I've got a chance to just take the 1 and get this set up, right?
Or I could have taken from here if I wanted.
Or from there
to
then stack up.
This
then
we haven't shown how that stacking
flips over here. And now that's available to either of us if it's there. And that would be another thing. And you notice right down here on our board, we each take 2 of those tokens in a round over the 5 different rounds. And so we've got those things going on.
Maybe you showed this one too.
Yeah. So say I'm coming along and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this dark blue there to get that started, and I'm going to stack. And I can stack these in any way. I don't want to leave that teal for shell.
Well, maybe I don't want it.
Maybe I'm going to set it up so that maybe I could get that red or the yellow, right? So that goes like that. And now that's ready to draft. Or I could have done this, for example.
Yep.
And now we'd have to take 1, 2, 3 yellows if you draft from the night side. But in this case, you'd be drafting that first starter player
And
for
I would
the
love
next
for
time.
Doug to set me up like that.
Of
Because then
course.
I would take all 3 yellow and put
course.
it over here.
Yeah.
Let's just say you did that.
Yeah.
I'll take the negative, no problem.
All right. She puts
That's there, and I'm going to put it here.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Okay, and we're going back and forth like this. After we have...
This gets flipped over.
Yeah, this gets flipped over. After we have taken 2 dome tiles, taken 2 of these tiles, and drafted everything we could from the tiles that are available, and we have to continue until we everything's gone, then at the second part of the round, we place the tiles from completed rows. And the way that works is, so any row that's complete, so I've got 2 rows complete, Shelley's got 1 row complete.
All this stuff will be gone.
Shelley, of course, would have
Everything.
drafted this one here, right? So you take the one closest to the dome, put that on the spot, and then these go into the little receptacle, nice little receptacle.
Yep.
And so she completed that. I would get to take 1 here, putting that there, and I would put 1 here and putting that there. Now, when you do that, you score a point for the one you place, and then a point for any that is vertical or diagonal next to
horizontal.
Vertical or horizontal,
Yeah,
not
not
diagonal. Sorry. Dane Bramage. Vertical or horizontal next to the one you place. So this one isn't as good as I could have. I could have, so if I had thought this through, maybe had it like this, and then when I place this one out, it's 1, and then when I place this one out, it's 2 more. Instead, this would be just 1 and 1, because that's the way that works. And so you go through
And
this.
there's other things that give you different types of points too. These ones here, if you fill those in, you get something different, right? Because that goes across the way.
If I had on a subsequent round, filled in this, that there and this here. As soon as that fills, I put in the 4th one. Mm-hmm. And instead of getting the points like you do when you place from the rows, by placing here, I look across, and that is in the row that scores 4 points for every one of these that gets placed. So it's easier, of course, to place them when they're up above, and you get fewer points than if you finish and get it down in the lower area. So that's the way that works. With these tokens, so say I had just a single, let me see if I can grab one that has it. Nope, say I had, there we go. Say I had just a single one here, and it was like, oh my God, I've got to get this completed. I can use 2 that have the color, or any 3 of these tokens, put them and say, okay, I'm using those here, and now I've completed that row, and I can do that, and then these are just a one-time use and out of the game, all right? So you're scoring during the round, of course, and so by placing this, for example, I would have gotten 1, 2, 3 points, 1, 2, 3 points, and so on in the game.
And then at the end of the round, these things are going to stay here, the ones that are not filled.
Exactly.
And so you're keeping on working on them for the future.
Yes. Then you fill up the factories again. The first player puts their marker having lost 2 points. Okay. And you can, like Shelley was showing, if you put 3 reds in this area and you had to put it here, you're going to get first -1 for that first extra tile, and then -2 more, and then -3 more, and then -4 more, for a total of -10 if you're really being bad in the way you're taking your stuff.
And sometimes you might be forced to do that at the end if someone's planned
Exactly.
they're stacking correctly.
Exactly. That is
But
very
you'll know
true.
when the round is over, because all of these pieces will be on the boards, all of these will be on the boards, and somebody would have had to pay to get the last one
all
here.
of these are gone.
So
right?
all these are gone,
Exactly.
and then there'll be
these
3
tokens
new
are
ones
out
that
here.
come out.
Okay.
And you can do them in any order that you want.
Yeah. All right, so we have played all of the Azuls and liked them all.
All of them, yeah.
Probably some more than others. So, honey, what do you think of this one?
This one's fantastic too. I mean, I love this game. It is the pieces, take it up a whole notch.
Oh
of
yeah,
course.
these Bakelite pieces are great.
They're satisfying when you throw them in here. Everything about it is very satisfying. When you're trying to, figure out just how to stack these, when you're trying to figure out which one of these to take, because otherwise, if you don't take them first, the other person's going to take the ones you might want.
Exactly.
But also, if you're going to try to wait, and maybe something else is going to be, but then you show up, and then you're thinking, well, I better take these.
Right, because you don't want to have to pay the points to take it out of the stack.
I love how the back and forth, and it's very simple.
Yeah.
But yet it's a really great thing.
Yes.
And it's a lot of fun.
Definitely a lot of fun.
It's a great game.
I have one tiny qualm. Okay? So, and it's this. I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
Visual.
Yeah.
Here's the box. This is the box bottom.
Very nice small box. Oopsie.
Okay. All right.
Tall.
Okay.
Too
Too tall.
tall.
Okay.
Too
All right.
tall.
I got to break it down. All right. All right. No problem. All right. I break it down.
Still
Doesn't
too
fit.
big.
You have to like tuck this into the box to make it fit.
Oh, that's a good idea. Well, that's cool.
It's still a little annoying. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, that's
just a little. All right. Other than that, great game.
Oh, it's
Great game.
fantastic. Game.
Okay. So again, this is
Azul
Azul Duel from Michael Kiesling and Next Move Games. A great little 2-player only addition to the Azul franchise. Really solid. Check it out. If you and your partner or whoever it is that you play with, and it's just the two of you, boom.
You want
great
this one.
addition.
And
all
if
right?
you play mostly multiple player, you can get any of the
Get any other
Zuls
ones.
because they're all really, really great.
Exactly. All right, that'll do it for this week. Remember, down in the show notes, check out the extensive list of games that no longer fit on our shelves, but belong on your table. And patreon.com/GarrettsGames to sponsor the podcast and this video series. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye.